Hey everyone, welcome back to another episode of Quarantine Kitchen. Today, I'll be making ricotta-stuffed chicken thighs. We'll start by prepping our chicken thighs. This is a brine thigh that still has the bone, so we'll be removing the bone from these thighs. In my brining video, I forgot to mention that anytime you brine a protein, you need to make sure to rinse it off. That way, when you cook it, it doesn't become too salty. As you can see, one of these thighs is from a previous video and already has the bone removed. To remove the bone, I'll start by running the tip of my knife right along the seam of fat that runs with the thigh bone. You'll go close to the bone, but making sure not to go all the way through the thigh. We're trying to leave this whole. Make sure you're using just the tip of the knife and staying as close to the bone as possible. We want to make sure to leave as little as possible meat on the bone. Once most of the bone is exposed, start to pull it away from the meat. Then, with the edge facing away from your hand, put the tip of the knife between the meat and the bone and slice it away. Then, turning the bone around, scrape the meat away from the bone, and then very carefully cut between the end of the bone and the meat. This should leave you with a whole, boneless chicken thigh. From here, you can start to spread the meat out a little bit and sort of scrape it wider open so that it's thinner but not cut through. Now, we'll do the same with the other chicken thigh. Again, that's going along the seam of fat that runs along the thigh bone, clearing the meat away from the bone and exposing the bone on both sides. Once the bone is exposed, put the tip of your knife between the meat and the bone and slide it along the bone and then out. Finish by scraping the meat away from the bone and then cutting the bone cleanly off. Next, we'll make our filling for our chicken thighs. I'm using a bit of my whipped ricotta from a previous video and some crunchy bacon bits. Filling goes a long way in chicken thighs, so you'll notice that even though I have 3 chicken thighs, I'm only using about 3 tablespoons of filling. To stuff our chicken thighs, we'll start by very carefully pulling the skin off of the thighs. We want to make sure to leave this intact as this is going to help our thighs stay rolled together. Next, we'll flip our chicken thigh over so the inside is exposed and put about a tablespoon of filling inside. Then, carefully roll the chicken thigh up and make sure not to squeeze the filling out from the sides. You don't need this to be too tight, you just want the edges to sort of touch each other. Then, we'll place the open side of the chicken thigh in the center of the chicken skin and then carefully roll it up so that the chicken skin encases our thigh. Repeat this process with your remaining chicken thighs. If you look carefully, you'll notice that on my last chicken thigh, I forgot to take the skin off and do it how I told you guys to do. When I realized this later, I went back and fixed it. Once your thighs are all stuffed, place them on a plate and make sure that they're not touching. You want to leave them in the fridge for about an hour. This dries the chicken skin out, which seals your little parcels. This will make sure that they do not open up while you're cooking. To cook these, we're going to do a simple braise by seasoning them, searing them in a hot pan with oil, and then cooking them in a 450-degree oven. Once my chicken skin is nice and brown, I'm going to add a little bit of chicken stock and then put it in my 450-degree oven for about 20 minutes or until the thighs are fully cooked through. Once your chicken thighs are fully cooked, serve them alongside any vegetable side you choose. We had ours with lightly buttered frozen peas, a quarantine staple.